Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, well, we are visiting with Danny and Cheryl Todd. Danny and Cheryl Todd are from Arizona, and they've got so many things going on. They're entrepreneur gurus, and they're always on the go, always looking for something new. They have AZ Firearms, which is now AZ Firearm Auctions, and the Pot of Gold Auctions. They've got Gun Freedom Radio.
Great.
There we go. And there's other stuff we're going to hit as well, the DCP and Faster Saves Lives. But Danny, you were also talking about getting into pinball machines the last time we talked.
We opened up a distributorship for Chicago Gaming, and we do pinball machines now. And that's kind of a completely different business than the firearms business, but it's fun.
That's really cool. You know, this is one of my objectives with riding shotgun was to increase my circle of friends, which it has absolutely done. But one of the things about the show that I wanted to emphasize is that gun owners are regular people, and you guys have a ton of businesses, and you guys have a business that is not firearm related.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's so funny to me that, you know, when we decided we were going to close the retail portion of AZ Firearms and merge it into the auction house, that was supposed to, you know, accomplish a couple of things on Danny's plate. Like, it was supposed to help him slow down. You know, maybe he wouldn't be lifting and hauling these massive, heavy loads of, you know, things, ammo, guns, all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, in order to do that, we went to the super lightweight, you could almost carry on your pinkies, pinball machines? No. Like, why? Why does everything have to weigh 9,000 pounds? Somebody tell me.
Some things I guess you didn't think through all the way, huh?
You know, I've been doing that stuff for years, though, collectibles, and we had... when Cheryl and I first got married, I had quite a bit of coin-op stuff, you know, pinballs, gumball machines, things like that. And it's always interesting. It's kind of like firearms. How do they work? What's inside of them? And that's what I get into, enjoying trying to figure out how this thing ticks.
The mechanisms of them. Yeah, the gear work is what really fascinates him.
That is really cool. I have a friend of mine, speaking of coin-op, I had a friend of mine that said she's thinking of buying a laundromat and moving to East Tennessee and retiring and owning a laundromat. And of course I thought it was ridiculous. And then I see some like TikTok videos and Facebook Reel videos of people that are like, hey, you know what? We bought a laundry, we bought a laundromat, a coin-operated laundromat. And I know it's not a lot of money, but we pulled in $6,700 this week.
So we owned a laundromat for about a minute.
Oh, jeez. What haven't you guys owned? Oh, my goodness.
Well, we bought the building, and it was a laundromat. And I thought, well, we might as well just keep it as a laundromat. But, you know, there's cautions like in every business. I didn't buy it for the laundromat. But I thought, well, here's a bonus, right? So we'll do it. Well, the machines were bad. And to replace all the machines in the area that we were in with the competition, it just didn't seem feasible to continue it on. But that was a fun business for about 2 weeks. But then when you realize that it costs like $7,000 to replace a washer, and then you have to work, you know, then getting the old washer out, which is rusted to the floor. You know, there's just a lot of fun things that you don't think about when you're doing it.
In any business.
Yeah.
But we thought it would be great passive income, and I know a lot of people do use it as mostly passive. You've got to be involved in any business. But I applaud your friend, and I wish them all the best, but we decided that was not the avenue for us.
Well, just what really did it for us is getting a call at 11 o'clock at night because somebody's T-shirt stuck in the washer.
Yeah, that's not the glamorous lifestyle you want.
Yeah, no.
I will say this: when my washer or dryer has broken and I've ended up at the laundromat, I think it's like life kicking me in the pants, and I feel like I'm in college again because you have to take your clothes someplace to wash it instead of just washing it at your house. And I'm like, this is the worst I've felt since I was in college because I got to go to a laundromat.
True. It's true, but thank God that they are there when your washer breaks. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of these things you don't want to think about, but you're glad they're around. There's a couple in town.
For sure.
Anyway, so you guys have changed over AZ Firearms to AZ Auctions, and you've tied that in with your Pot of Gold auctions. Tell us about that.
Well, okay, so we had AZ Firearms for about 20 years. I'm getting up there in age a little bit. I'm not as young as I used to be, and I really enjoyed the gun shop. I mean, I miss it still. But first of all, I want to take two myths away. One is that people say, were you afraid because of the new administration? And I say, hell no to that. I would challenge them any day of the week. I did my paperwork right, and I'd be willing to fight them all the way down. So I didn't close it for that reason. The other reason is, well, maybe your employees weren't doing what you wanted them to do. And I say no to that, too. I had a great lineup of employees. Mm-hmm. It was just too much. Okay, we went through a year and a half of COVID where there was people in line every single day of the week. I mean, constantly, people complaining because they had to wait so long for a gun. We staffed it the best we could. It was just a nightmare. And I am getting older, and I decided, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And it's weird is because we were making more money than we could count at the time.
Well, wow. And I want to say, I mean, I understand the nightmare end of it because it was a lot, but it's a blessing to be able to have a business where there were that many people waiting for service. Yeah. And the other huge blessing of that time was that people were coming to us. If you remember not so long ago, there were these things called, mostly peaceful, yet somewhat fiery protests. I mean, they weren't riots, mind you. Yeah. Right? But all that was going on. The COVID lockdowns were going on. The world was just, seemingly crazy. People were talking about defunding the police, vilifying the police. And so there were so many people that realized that I am my own first responder. There's nobody coming to help me. I need to get trained and prepared. And so a lot of those people who came to us and waited in those lines were people that would have said, I would never see myself owning a gun. And they were from all across the political spectrum. You could no longer say, if you're going into a gun shop, you're just this kind of stereotyped person. Sure. It was every single person you could imagine across the board. And what an incredible opportunity we had to serve them, to help them protect their families, to get the training they needed, and also to connect them, many of them, for the first time ever, with their constitutional rights. We would give each person a little pocket constitution, chat them up a little bit about how important it was to protect our rights through the laws that get passed, and maybe being a little bit more active in the political spectrum, even though the Second Amendment is not a political idea. It has to be protected in that realm. And it was really an incredible opportunity. But with every time we've had a feast in the Second Amendment, in the gun shop, well, it's followed by a famine. And we figured that, we've had a great couple of years, but the supply chain is going to be different. Expenses are going up through the roof everywhere. Minimum wage is being artificially driven up everywhere. We just felt like it would be a really okay time for us to downsize and put all of our staff and all of our business under one roof. And so we have the building. I believe you've been in this building because we had a DC Project event here.
Yeah, back in 2019.
Yeah, and so we've got the gun auctions here, the regular auctions here, and all of Danny's pinball machines.
Yeah. and let me define the word nightmare. Okay, some people think it's some big monster that's going to come and eat your leg off or something. That's not what this was. The nightmare I'm thinking about is that how do I serve the people? I don't have the capacity to serve them the way they need to be served. And so how do I get more guns? How do I get more ammo? How do I do this? How do I do that? It became what I call a nightmare because I couldn't do what we had done so well for 20 years.
That's a good distinction. I like that.
Yeah, thinking back to 2020 when you were talking, Cheryl, as a guy that's a firearm instructor, June of 2020 was the busiest month I've had the whole 10 years that I've been teaching gun safety classes, and doing classes on my own. I was doing a class every Saturday, every Sunday, and every Wednesday, and there were probably two Saturdays that month when I had two classes. So I would go, I would go teach a 4-hour class in the morning. I would pack up all my stuff, and I would go teach another 4 or 5 hour class in the afternoon. And people were craving getting guns. And the thing is, back then, is the people that weren't interested in firearms suddenly discovered that you can't just, particularly in the occupied territory where I live in New England, you can't just go into a store and buy a gun. You've got to take a class, and then you've got to apply for a permit or a license. And then after your license could be it could be in 40 days, it could be in 60 days. But with all of the COVID shutdowns and lockdowns and people that weren't working, it might be a little bit longer. And we had police chiefs out here that were not doing fingerprints, which is usually what they do when they're doing the licensing, and police were not fingerprinting people, and then that's going to be another thing that was hanging up people to get their licenses. So it was a really, I'm not going to say it was a good thing, but it was a good thing for these people to see that when President Obama comes out and says it's easier to get a gun than it is to get a library book, it's not true.
Not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. Some of their comparisons are just so laughable. But if you don't know, you don't know. And it was good for people to have an opportunity to find out for themselves. I hate the reason that they had the opportunity or that it pushed them to do it. But I do think that's a positive overall outcome.
It is, because it lets them see that there's this one thing that you think that you take for granted, and whether you listen to the media or you just don't know, like you said, and you think you can grab onto this real quick and you can get involved really quickly, and that might not necessarily be the case. Maybe the NICS check is down, and you've got to wait 3 days for your background check to go through, and some riots rolling through your area, and you're freaking out about it, and there's nothing you can do because you weren't prepared.
Exactly. Well said.
All right, so moving on to some other stuff. Let's talk about something I always associate with you is the DC Project. And to me, you and Diana Muller and Amanda Suffolk, to me, you ladies are the face of the DC Project.
Well, that's a huge compliment. Holy cow! Just to even put me in the company with those other two awesome ladies. So thank you for that.
Oh no, I mean this is what I think of. I see you in your teal polka dot dress, and I, of course, I can't think of you in anything other than a polka dot dress. But
yeah.
I know, right?
She has a red polka dot dress on right now.
I believe it. Would you guys just come back from Disneyland?
No.
Probably on our way soon or something. Quick stopover at home in between.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the DC Project. One of the things the DC Project recently did is put out 3 amazing, moving, and emotional videos.
Yeah,
with
those were amazing.
Yeah, they had Holly Sullivan, they had Robin Sandoval, they had Mary Forges, and I'm not gonna say her name right. Lakeisha Williams.
Lucretia.
Lucretia, that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, the DC project has been on the move.
Oh man, doing such good work. And we've had, maybe 5 of our ladies testify in front of congressional hearings in the past, I would say, year to year and a half. That is huge. So yeah, I give so much credit to Diana Muller for just keeping her foot on the gas to move the needle of freedom back in the right direction. And did we say Lucretia Hughes? Did we say her name right?
No, I did not say it right. I thought it was Williams. I was more concerned about getting the Lucretia part right than.
Okay, Lucretia Hughes.
Yeah, I haven't met her yet, so and I haven't had her on the show, so I need to get in touch with her and have her in the shotgun seat.
Yeah, absolutely, she is a dynamo. Let me tell you, she was in this room doing the congressional hearing, and they had person after person with these deeply emotional stories about, loss of family members. They had the 11-year-old girl testify who was stuck in that school with that evil murderer in Texas. The little 11-year-old who said she had to camouflage herself with her friend's blood and pretend like she was dead. And I believe it was my Congressman Andy Biggs who kind of called that maneuver out from the other side and said, look, if she's suffering from trauma, this poor little 11-year-old, you've just extended the period of trauma to make her come and do this. She needs to be in healing right now, not testifying, in front of Congress.
That is great. Good for him.
I agree. And so they had all these people, and then there's one person on our side, and it was Lucretia Hughes. And I am telling you, by the time she got done reading her statement, I got goosebumps thinking about it, because she lost a son. Someone shot him point blank in the head. And she doesn't come away from that realizing that, guns are bad. She came away from this realizing, I need to be my own first responder. I need to empower people, train them, teach them to protect themselves with the best tool available to them. And for most of us, that happens to be a firearm. And anyway, she did such a beautiful job. And she was a balance. One person, she was a balance, I felt, to all the other voices. And that is really an accomplishment.
Yeah, it was very moving. And hearing her story is... it's a shock to the system, and it's a shock. It's a shock to the system that she comes down on the side of our rights and the being able to protect yourself.
Absolutely, I really admire her, but she is a firecracker. So let me just, if you've ever watched her podcast, definitely buckle your seatbelt if you get her in the car, because she's got a lot of energy.
She does. I've seen a couple of her live videos, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Woof.
Yeah.
Woof, mercy.
She should bottle that for the rest of us.
I know. Can she sell that?
No doubt.
Oh. Well, listen, staying with the theme of school shootings, I want to move into the Faster Saves Lives. And last summer, you and I did a Faster Saves Lives course in Ohio. We did the Level 1 class. Which is an amazing program, and you continued with Dave Laird. He was in the Level 1 class. You guys continued and did the Level 2 class, and you and what is it, the AZCDL?
Yes.
You guys are trying to bring Faster Saves Lives to schools in Arizona. I know they're already in Ohio and they're in Colorado, and you guys are trying to bring it to Arizona. Tell us about that.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk about that. I have become the president and CEO of the AZCDL Foundation. So there's 2 legs of the AZCDL. One is the C4, which is the legislative, and the one and only amazing Dave Kopp is the president of that organization. But the foundation, the C3, the educational arm, he kind of, stepped aside. He said, I've got my plate full over here on the C4 side. So asked if if I would move into the president's seat and David Laird would move into the vice president seat, and we have. And it is our mission to bring the Faster Saves Lives training to Arizona. We're working very closely with the originators of the program in Ohio. And we've got our next class scheduled. Everything, you have to say tentatively. Ever since 2020 happened, everything is in pencil. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we're looking at September 23rd, 24th, 25th. This is the year 2022. And the signups will all go through the Ohio Faster Saves Lives main website. And we are working on the portal for that now. So, I mean, this is really in real time things happening to try to bring this life-saving emergency response to all the schools in Arizona, and also churches and also businesses. But it's really was designed originally for our most vulnerable, our poor, just defenseless children in schools where, I mean, it's just unconscionable that murderers choose that as their target. But yeah, that is what we are really pressing forward on. We've been meeting with our state legislators. We have met with some representatives, and we've got a meeting set up with some senators. And the outpouring, the outreach from parents and teachers, especially since that horrible event, those horrible murders in Texas, in Uvalde, Texas, has been very lively. People are realizing they put themselves kind of mentally, if I was stuck in that school and help is there, it's on the other side of maybe a pane of glass, right?
Yeah.
Or the other side of a wall. It's there, but it's not there. I think they're starting to really understand why this program is called Faster. You know, time's not your friend. The faster you can react, the better. And of course, FASTER is an acronym. It stands for Faculty and Administrator Safety Training and Emergency Response. But it also is talking about the fact that, you know, the minute the danger has walked on your campus, you are in a fight against that person and the clock.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I've really become aware of and conscious of is the change in language, and that language means things. Somebody, I don't know who said this, I heard some people use it, and I wish more people started to use it, but everyone talks about our first responders, the police and the firemen. But teachers are immediate responders. If they're in the school, they can respond immediately. They don't have to wait. They shouldn't have to wait for other people to get there, because, like you said, time is of the essence in something like this. The Newtown, the shooting in the school in Newtown, I think was 6 minutes long, or it was 6 minutes before the police got there, and 6 minutes wasn't enough. Columbine was an hour and a half. This thing in Uvalde, Texas, was 44 minutes or 76 minutes or something like this. It was somewhere in that.
Depends on who you ask. That's crazy. We still don't know.
Right. Yeah, that is true. But it, whatever it was too long. Is the real answer. And I've been an educator for 20 years, and teachers are the ones that are there. They're the ones that are able to respond. And I tell people that if you're concerned about, I tell people we're not concerned about high school age boys going in and grabbing teachers' purses and taking their cars for a drive. You know, we're not concerned about that. The female teachers lock their purse up with their car keys someplace. We're not concerned about that. So why would we be concerned about if 4 boys are going to attack a teacher to take a gun off of her, then in my eyes, 4 boys are going to attack a teacher. She probably needs to protect herself because there's a disparity of force there. So, yeah, so teachers are the immediate responders, and they do need some sort of a training. And what was great about the training at Faster Saves Lives is it wasn't just firearm stuff. It wasn't shooting skills. It was, but it wasn't just that. There was some some first aid trauma care that was good for me to learn, because I haven't taken a first aid course before. So it was good to learn how to work a tourniquet and to talk about chest seals and all those kinds of things. And then to me, the icing on the cake was going to the school and running through some scenarios in a school with some I forget what the guns were, but they had
airsoft or something.
They were not soft. Let me tell you, I got hit with 4 of those balls.
That's true. I remember that. You poor thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was asking for it though. I knew going into it I was asking for it, but you run through a scenario, and you really see how fast you do respond and how you respond, and you know something's going on, but in a real life situation, you don't know something's going on. So it's good to play the, when this happens, then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and here's how I'm going to respond.
So true. And when you talk about the medical, to me, if schools can just, allow, I hate that word, allow their teachers to just take the training and then pick and choose what they're comfortable with. Who is going to say no to this emergency medical training and the kits that are given to every single person that goes through this course? Who's going to say no to that in front of a microphone, in front of parents? Like, no, we're good. We're just going to call 911 and wait for an hour and see what happens. That's craziness. And when that police chief, if this piece of the story is even correct, because it seems like everything I think I know about this Uvalde deal just keeps changing, but I believe I heard that the chief of police said there's nobody left alive inside, and so that's why we're not racing in there. And you and I have taken this training, and we know, that people bleeding out is one of the leading causes of death in these situations, because the EMTs can't go in until the scene is cleared.
Right.
And how would he possibly know? No human being could possibly know if there were children in there that were injured and just needed a tourniquet to save their life.
Yeah.
Right? Just, tie off a massive bleed and the life is saved. It's unconscionable to me. Yeah,
even if there was someone that was an adult that was able to say to some other kid, here, push down on this wound, I'm going to go take care of someone else. Those are the sorts of things that save people's lives in these situations, and not getting some training, not knowing how to do this is it's irresponsible, is really what it is.
I agree with you 100%. I've used this example with a couple of the legislators we've talked to, that there was this video that was going around online about a kid that was choking, right? And so he had poked a hole in the cap of his water bottle, and he was squeezing the water into his mouth. Well, he squeezed too hard, and the cap popped off and lodged in his throat. So this little boy's running around the classroom, and then finally realizes, okay, run to the teacher and somehow get her attention. I don't know why there was a video camera playing in this classroom, but anyway, this was captured. So she does the Heimlich maneuver, cap pops out, kid's life is saved. I say, so now envision that. If you've seen the video or haven't, envision that this kid runs up to you, he's pointing to his throat, he's choking to death, and you go, oh, hold on, I got it. I'm going to call 911. You're good. And let this little boy turn blue and die.
Yeah.
Would you ever in a million years do that? No. And Jim Irvine, one of the founders and spokespeople for Faster Saves Lives out of Ohio, he calls that negligence. Now, some people say that's a legal term. Just in common language, I would say that's negligent. At least try the Heimlich, right?
Right.
Just try. Don't just stand there. And so, just using that as an example, that if all we are prepared to do in these emergency situations is just call 911 and stand back, and that's the level of our responsibility to our children in our schools, there's something wrong with that. We can do so much better.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't seen that video or heard that story, but I mean that is a wonderful and a very comparable analogy that you need to do. You need to be an immediate responder and take some sort of an action. And if you don't know how to take an action, then that is definitely negligence.
I think so, definitely.
All right. Well, listen, our time is up here. This has been great. I thank you guys for taking the time. I'm glad we could catch up. I'm looking forward to having the article and rehashing our old interview and combining it with this new interview. And I thank you and Danny for taking the time. I love hanging out with you guys. I can't wait to see you again. When are we going to see each other again? Is it going to be at GRPC?
Well, I am definitely going because, of course, you and I also do AMCON.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful event for Second Amendment media people to get together and learn from each other. And I am definitely coming to both. And Danny, his calendar stays so busy that I haven't been able to fully nail it down, but I think he's coming as well.
I'm going to try.
Yep.
Awesome.
Carry your luggage.
Somebody's got to carry my luggage.
Carry the luggage. Oh, my goodness. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being on with me. I really appreciate your time. I love talking to you guys. I love you guys. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much.
Love you too, Charlie. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye, Charlie.
All right. Bye-bye.